Hello. What's up, guys? This is our second episode of the 3 p.m. podcast, and I am so excited, and I can see Manish excited as well. It's
Yeah.
it's a great day to have a podcast, and we have an amazing speaker lined up for today, and I can't wait to talk to him. Uh, so for the new viewers out there, my name is Akash, and this is Manish, and we both are engineering management students at Johns Hopkins University. Uh, we are we have started this initiative to help new product managers, new students, new aspirants into this world to help them crack the first layer of product management and help them to get their first job. So, to help you with that, we have a lot of speakers who will be talking about their experiences. And so, Manish, I mean, I really think this is a great initiative, right? I mean, I feel we had something in mind while starting this. What do you think?
Yeah, to be honest, for me, when we started this conversation, we were looking at all the podcasts available in the market, right? So most of the podcast which is available in the market, so they are specifically targeting to upscale the current PM. I mean, who has a PM job and they are looking to upscale themselves. But we, as a student who wants to get our first job, was not able to find any specific podcast where we can learn at a very basic level and get our concepts clear and get the first PM job. So that's when we realize, okay, so there's the wide market, wide space we should crack in. And that's when we realize we should start with 3 p.m. podcast. So here we are presenting you guys the 3 p.m. podcast.
All right, then. Before, I mean, not wasting much more time, let's get directly into the podcast and introduce our speaker for the day, uh, Mr. Richson Lim from Ticketmaster. Welcome to the podcast. Uh, I hope we
Hey
are
guys,
audible. Yeah. Hi.
glad to be here.
Oh, glad to meet you as well.
Yeah.
So before we go into the podcast, Ritson, just logistics, like how we're gonna go about this is we're gonna have a 1 hour discussion, which is gonna be broken down into a few sections, and we'll be
Mhm.
having Q&A at the end of every 10 minutes of our discussion for people who are logging in and who want to talk to you about your experience and who have personalized questions in mind. So we will be taking up those questions at the end of 10 minutes, every 10 minutes, and at the end we will be having a resume review where we'll be taking breaking down a few resumes, anonymous resumes that you might feel uh, we've actually taken resumes that are into this space, who want to get into the same kind of roles as you.
Mhm.
So yeah, it might be helpful if you could help them out. So
Cool.
yeah, that's all about it. We can go directly into our uh, podcast, and welcome to the 3 p.m. podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, thank you. So we have Richson Lim. He is a current product manager at Ticketmaster. He is a Columbia University graduate in financial economics. Richson transitions into product management starting at Aeon. He now manages key product at Ticketmaster, leveraging his unique background to drive innovation in ticketing industry. And we are excited to hear his insights today. So yeah, thank you, Ritson, for being here. So to start with the questions part, so we have break down our question series into various sections. So initially we will touch upon the career transition and the first PM role which you landed.
Mhm.
So starting with that, can you walk us through your journey from graduating from Columbia University to your current role as a product manager at Ticketmaster?
Cool. Yeah. So I think I told Akash this when we spoke a couple of weeks ago. I did Columbia. I came to New York City from Singapore. So Singapore, born and bred. Went to theater school. I was an actor for a while, and then I had to do national service because all of us had to do national service there. So I came to Columbia like 10 years ago. Did 5 years of college, and back then I think maybe like comp sci or computer science or tech wasn't like that big before COVID. So I think
Mm-hmm.
as everybody back then, oh, you wanted to be a banker, right? Wanted to be in finance, wanted to be a banker. So my background in internships was nothing to do with tech. So I did two banks and one investment firm for my internships. And then the first job that I took, I transitioned into tech as a data analyst. So so initially it was at Ion Group. It's a fintech company, and they had a rotational program, right? If you enter as a rotational program, you spend 6 months here, 6 months here, 6 months somewhere else, and then you get to choose what you want to do after
Yeah.
your rotational program. So I entered as a data analyst, did a couple of rotations, and then found product very interesting. Stuck close to the product manager there, and eventually he was getting promoted to oversee like 3 to 5 more products. So he needed a junior guy to kind of like take over his current product, which is kind of like small
Mm-hmm.
enough that they're willing to take a risk on somebody who's a new product manager. So data analysts managed a product there, worked in Ion for 3 years. And then 2 years ago, when the tech market was kind of like booming straight out of COVID, I took the opportunity, jump ship, and now I manage email marketing at Ticketmaster. So if you've ever received an email saying, "Hey, buy Taylor Swift on sale tickets here," somebody's probably using that email product I run to send those emails out.
Wow.
Got it, got it. And yeah, it does make sense. So like previously, not many people were like interested enough to get into tech, but unfortunately, because of the COVID, people tried transitioning into tech. So
Mhm.
talking about on the same thing, like when during this transition, so what was kind of like your biggest challenges from financial economics to directly to product management, if you can like talk about it.
Yeah, I think straight out of college is not super hard because the thing is I didn't enter as a product manager. Because the thing is, for people watching this stream right now, coming straight out of college, I highly recommend, like rotational programs that I just talked about. I think Capital One has an associate manager rotational product program. Facebook has a very competitive rotational product program also. So I highly recommend those because those are straight out of school. But my transition from college to product was a bit, I guess, was pretty standard, right? I entered as a data analyst. I didn't start as a product manager. If you don't get to enter those competitive rotational programs, you probably have to start somewhere in a tech company and then work your way up. I think one tip here was what I did, right? I was interested in a product. I spoke to the product manager. I started offering him help to do some of the work that he was doing. And after a while, the opportunity popped up. He handed that opportunity to me. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Got it, got it. I mean, yeah, that's a super useful tip as well. Like when we get into any other role and to transition into some other role, maybe we can like help those senior people and learn from directly from them and then maybe like transition smoothly in those department. So
Yeah.
this
So
was
one thing I
yeah.
wanna add on to that would be because like right now, I am aware that you guys are going into the industry, and right now
Mhm,
the tech market is a bit tight and it's a bit more strapped than it was 2 years ago. So I highly recommend if you guys really want to go into tech. Once again, product is kind of pretty competitive space. I highly
Hmm.
recommend going in as a data analyst or an analyst,
Okay.
and then work your way up. But getting the offer is the most important thing right now.
All right.
Got it. Got it.
That's
So
super
this
insightful.
happened. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So this happened only after you entered your first rotational program at Ion, right? But taking a step back, so during your master's program, right? So
I
did
was
you took
undergrad.
any oh, sorry, your undergrad.
Yep.
Yeah. So
No
during
worries.
your undergrad program, so during that as well, did you take any specific career steps to prepare for career into product management, or you were just aiming for the finance role, or like?
Just the finance route, a lot of like
Mhm,
finance courses, a lot of like, DCFs and a lot of that stuff. Yeah, but I think once you enter your first product role, or at least you're interviewing for a first product role, is a totally separate ball game, right? I think a lot of what you guys learn in school, unless you're in something like, I know Carnegie Mellon has a product manager master's,
Hmm.
but unless you're in like a product manager like a degree, right, you will still have to study all over again. So everyone will have to start from square one. The same if you want to go to
mhm,
finance, you have to learn how to walk through a financial model. You have to learn how to value companies. If you want to be in consulting, you have to learn how to, do case studies in a MECE fashion. Same for product. If you want to go in product and you get that first interview, you will have to kind of like study this realm of knowledge and this realm of rigor before going in. So yeah, anybody. Best news is anybody can start, even if you're a music major, acting major. It doesn't matter as long as you're putting the effort. There are a
mhm.
lot of resources out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you mentioned about like anyone can join the product part if you are interested and ready to put in the work. So can you talk about like how did you differentiated yourself from other candidate when you were applying for the first rotational program in the ION?
Cool. I think for do you guys because I see share screen here. If you would like, I'd be happy
Yeah,
to
yeah.
share something that I did.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Uh,
No problem.
yeah, so the thing is, I think in Ion it was a bit different. Maybe I can't really give too much tips in Ion Group because that was a very generic rotational program. They were just
Mm-hmm.
looking at high quality candidates across all schools and see who was a good fit, not necessarily for product.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is when I was applying for jobs 2 years ago for product specific jobs, I had to really study product rigor. I had to take multiple product management courses. I highly recommend the Breaking into Product Management interview guidebook and a
Oh.
bunch of other resources. And one thing, Manish, you said was you asked was interesting is how do you actually differentiate yourself? I'll
Mm-hmm.
just maybe share this with you, right? Share windows. Okay. Can you guys
Mm-hmm.
see my PowerPoint slide?
Yeah, not yeah.
Are you guys able to see it? I'm not sure how
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Just give me a second. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
there we go.
Now
Just
we can, yeah.
Cool. Okay,
oops.
so maybe yeah. So the thing is, yeah. So one thing I want to go through is back then I was applying for many different jobs, and I was because I had product experience, people were calling me for jobs. But then the thing is, tech in the industry, it's a high paying industry, very cutthroat. It's hire and fire, and for every one good candidate, there's like 10 other good candidates out there.
Mm-hmm.
So every single
Mm-hmm.
candidate is going to be like, oh, I want this job. You should hire me. I'm the best. I'm the most interested. I will work the hardest, but what actually sets you apart is what you can do is a research project. So for every last interview that I got, I'm not doing a research project for every first interview, but for every last research interview that I got, I did a research project, right? Because I would have already went through maybe like 3 interviews to get a context of what product I'm going to be running, and I can do the research on my side. So by the time I'm going into the last interview, I will have a game plan. So this was the one I did for Ticketmaster, and by the way, there's no kind of like there's no sensitive information here because all public information. I did this research back
Mm-hmm.
when back before I even joined. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. First question, can I ask you guys? Are you guys
Mm-hmm.
familiar with kind of like product rigor, like how you go through product case studies? Do you guys go through this in your club?
Yeah, so we have like multiple events and multiple competition. So
Mm-hmm.
we specifically take one case study or like talk about it, or when we have a case competition, one
Mm-hmm.
of our speaker comes and like we give the problem statement, and initially we also explain our student how to solve a case study, and
Mm.
then eventually they end up solving those as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
we
Great.
we have multiple
But
things
I
which
mean,
helps the PM knowledge sharing to our
Mm-hmm.
club members.
Mm-hmm.
Ricky, would you mind like still like giving the audience like a little bit of like background
Yeah,
about how you
yeah,
built
Sure.
this?
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you just go through all the slides, just a brief
I
what
will.
it was about, that would be great.
Like because
Yeah.
you did it from scratch, right? For a newbie like me or like anyone else, it would sound like a lot for us.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would help if you could like break it down, like how you look at it.
Sure. So basically, my first 3 interviews for Ticketmaster was that this role was going to be for an email marketing product for Ticketmaster's flagship marketing product. I wasn't given a lot of details about this product, so I went online to research. But there was
Hmm.
also very little online because the thing is, Ticketmaster, what they're known for, they're known for their ticketing products. So a lot of the products on the client side, like setting up events, pricing, marketing, uh, these were kind of not really advertised on Ticketmaster website. So whatever I went through this, I had to use some assumptions on my own also. But once
Hmm.
again, just like you, right? This is a problem statement. All right, you're running Ticketmaster's flagship product. How would you go about it? And basically, after 3 interviews, I asked all my questions. I got enough details of what the product was and what I was interested in, and
Hmm.
I built this deck for them on the on the final interview, saying, "Hey, you know what? I spent my weekend to work on this presentation because I'm really passionate about the project. I'm here to list some ideas that I have. Will you be willing to listen?" And both my final interviews, they're like, "Yo, this is great. Please continue." We did a 20-minute interview and then like 10-minute presentation. So before you go into building any product, if you read any product management books or any product management prep, they'll tell you don't focus on the product. They ask you to focus on the values, on the approach, and on the problem statement. Does that make sense? Does that sound familiar to you guys?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
Yep. So before you build the product, you got to go through the why, the who, the what, and before the how. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
for the why, what I did was I actually did some research on Ticketmaster's mission. I said, hey, Ticketmaster's mission is to build technology to connect fans to events, what events they love, and also pursue and develop innovations that will unlock unforgettable experiences. So just during this statement, right, I said based on Ticketmaster's mission, I highlighted in yellow. I thought 2 points was very interesting to me, connecting
Mm-hmm.
fans with events they love. And the second point was to unlock an unforgettable experience. So before I even go into building the product, we have the two high level goals in mind. Once you have the company high level OKRs, then you can break them down into kind of like bite sized chunks and segments to how to achieve those goals. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow,
Cool.
that's great.
Yeah, we talk about the who, client personas. We got small
Mm-hmm.
venues, mid-sized venues, and enterprise venues who want to, use email marketing. And what? So I just created a product goal myself, right? Because I couldn't find anything.
Mm-hmm.
And
Sorry to interrupt, Ricky. If you can just go on those slide as
Yeah, it
well,
would be
because our
helpful. Yeah.
audience would be more understanding from those slide as well. Because
sure, sure.
yeah.
So let me just finish this up real quickly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So under what? I just created my own product goal to provide unrivaled experience marketing tools and to maximize value. And then over here, the how I mentioned, okay, this is how I'm gonna do it. This presentation is how I'm gonna do it. So
Mm-hmm.
before you present any solution, you present your philosophy first. So this is one good tip I would like to offer. Second, I will go down. Once again, before you even offer the solution, you need to understand the problems. So then I cut down. Okay, there are three different personas. There's small venues, mid-sized venues, and large
Mm-hmm.
venues. Okay. So I will just use one example here because I don't wanna, I want to be cognizant of time, right? So like a small venue is like a local bar and club. What are the use cases? They use a lot of self-service tools because if I'm a DJ in a small club and my father owns the club and I'm doing the marketing, I don't have a lot of budget. I don't have a lot of people to hire to do my marketing. So I want a one-stop shop tool to kind of like help me do everything. Complex automation systems which require time, not really interested. So the small venues have a unique use case, and then the enterprise values over here also have a different set of use cases, right? These are national, international artists. Taylor Swift plays in MSG, Red Rocks, all these big venues. They have very different demographic analysis. They want to market to people of girls, boys, different age groups, so on and so forth. And they have a lot of budget, but they don't have any analytics. So after that, I note the client personas and I highlight that, hey, I am empathizing with these customer problems. Any questions
Mm-hmm.
before I go on?
No,
Uh,
you're good. Go ahead, please. Yeah.
Cool. And then once again, before I build the product itself, I must understand what our competitors are offering. And then I went online to do some research. Mailchimp, Get Response, Active Campaign. I listed down all the different things they're offering. But this is the build part that I want to. This is the build part on the right. I want to show you on the right that
Mm-hmm.
was kind of like the key part of my presentation. Right. The thing is in
I,
Ticketmaster.
I think the
Mhm.
slides are not moving. It's
Oh, the slides are not moving.
yeah,
Oh
like
yeah. Now now we can see them.
Okay. I was on presentation mode. Sorry. So yeah, this is the
Okay.
philosophy.
oh
This was me talking about the client personas. You can see it change now, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And this is talking about the actual solution. So I did a competitor analysis and feature matrix. But on the right over here, I want you to see this is the part where I offer, okay, if I'm a product manager, this is what I want to build. Because we have different competitors offering different things. The actual build portion, I understand that the small venues want very simple tools, not a lot of budget. I know the big venues want higher automation, higher analytics. So over here in my proposed solution, I highlighted that, hey, Ticketmaster has a very unique value proposition. All these
Mm-hmm.
other tools might have other things, but they do not have the client ticketing data and the spend history. So if a client spent $10 in ticket Taylor Swift last year and $10 in Madonna last year, Ticketmaster will have all that data. I know you like pop music. I know you like, let's just say, classic rock. I can then use that data within the TM1 ecosystem to better sell use my email marketing tool to sell fans tickets. So over here, I said we should prioritize leveraging those additional data points to strengthen the marketing proposition. Because once again, we might not have the best tools, but we've got the best data. And the feature idea here, I said, okay, I want to create dashboards and analytics focused around ticketing data points in a very consumable fashion. So not only the big clients who have a lot of budget and data analysts can go through it, but even the small clients are able to do it on a self-serve basis. And then finally, I wrap the
Mm,
presentation up by saying, okay, if you hire me, this is my 60-day game plan. So this is the part where I want you guys to take note, right? To really show that you're interested, to put in the work, to research, offer some solutions, and to show them, hey, if you hire me today, in the next 60 days is what I'm going to do. The first 20 days, I'm going to understand the entire ecosystem, go through different tickets, study what the customer's initial needs are, define the product vision that you need before we can even build the product. Once again, the philosophy phase. Before you can build a product, you need to know why you're building it. Client discovery after that, further develop client personas. Now we got three. I was like, hey, why don't we develop more? Why don't we go down into more details? Interview clients, do surveys, so on and so forth. Match their needs with competitor features, and then map out our analytics coverage. And then the actual execution after 60 days, how am I going to, value add as a product manager to define different user journeys from missing functionalities,
Hmm.
categorize user journeys, and then prioritize features. Some of the features that I talked about here, but a lot more when I'm on the job and start to learn about the actual product itself. So yeah, this is just a very simple 4-slide presentation that I repeated
mhm.
multiple times, and I got multiple final offers just because I was the only final candidate that offered this plan, and other people did not. So it's a
Mm.
very very effective tool that I want you guys. If anything, you guys can take away from this today is come up with a presentation, show your interest, show your passion, and show that you can do the job.
Yeah, I mean that was like pure, proper intense work which you did before the interview, and definitely this might have given our audience a good idea about what goes behind converting those interview into the final offer. But
Hmm.
so yeah, thank you for sharing those. So we also had one question in the comment section, I guess.
Hmm.
So will you be okay on sharing those slides with our audience? I guess they are pretty interested. It's totally up to you. If it is
Yeah, but the thing
confidential,
is,
you can.
this is my work, and
Uh-huh.
I'm not
Gotcha.
sure how much kind of like sensitive information there was inside there.
Mm,
So yeah, if they want to go through a recording, please. But yeah, I shouldn't be the one sharing my work out there.
yeah.
All
So
right.
for anybody else, yeah, please take it with a grain of salt, and please also
Hmm.
put in your own effort.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I totally
definitely.
agree. And I like that you explained that there was a framework, a foresight framework that people should imbibe in them before going into every interview in the product management world. And
Mhm.
do you think that this is a practice in every single company that, or it's, or you, as you said, like it's something that you show to differentiate yourself?
Yeah, yeah, this is something. If I hit a final interview, I would almost
Okay.
always do this. Yeah, because once again, if they have like five final candidates, if only one person does this, you're
Hmm.
already ahead of the game. Versus if all else equals, you and another candidate, uh, everything knowledge and everything is the same, they're going to hire based on likability or vibe or who vibes with the team. And the kind of like likability and culture wise, that one is something you can't really control. So why not put your best foot forward first?
Gotcha. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. And like I understand that they're like the four key features as well you explained very nicely in those slides. But before you get to the final interview, like how, if I may ask, how
Mhm.
would you like give advice to people like us to get to that first interview? Like what would you do if you were in our
Yeah.
place?
Yeah,
Yeah.
adding to those that question itself, I was also kind of gonna ask the same thing. So, how were there like did you do any tailoring for your resume or like the cover letter? Because that is the first thing which usually people need to get at least the callback or the at least for the round one or round two.
In today's environment, in I'd say today's tech market right now in 2024, maybe into 2025, the getting the first interview is the hardest. That's one
Hmm.
thing I'll admit. Yeah, getting the first interview is hardest. So I think there's a few things you can do, right? It's not that you do one thing, you're gonna 100% get a first round. But if you do one thing, you're gonna get plus 5% chance. Then you do another thing, plus 5%, plus 5%. So these are small things you can do. So, are you guys aware of the ATS system that big
Mm-hmm.
companies use? So, the
Mm-hmm.
application tracking system is a system that companies use to kind of like filter out resumes. Okay. So, the first thing you need to do is to pass the application tracking system. And what I did was I went online to look for a tech career coach back then to do this, and I found out that the ATS system actually picks people's resumes up for based on keywords, which means to say if which means to say, like, let's just say JP Morgan posts a product manager, a product manager job for building their retail consumer banking app. Let's just say retail consumer banking app on LinkedIn, the description will have a bunch of stuff. All right, we need 3 years experience in mobile apps. We need somebody with experience with Stripe, so on and so forth. Within that LinkedIn post, you can actually copy the whole thing, put it on ChatGPT, maybe put 3 or 4 job postings like LinkedIn posts, and tell ChatGPT, hey, I want to be a product manager. These are all the keywords from 4 current real job postings out there for product management roles. This is my resume below. Can you optimize with the number of keywords? So that's a good first step, because instead
Hmm.
of saying, especially you guys who are masters, who are doing masters to go into product, who don't have product experience before, something like consulting, this would really help kind of like change the wordings of your consulting projects to sound more product related skills wise. So yeah, first thing is ATS optimized with keywords. Second thing is from, I think I told my buddy this recently, like last week, was that for every job you apply to, you should reach out to 3 or 4 people. Just say, hey, I just applied for this job. Really interested in what you're doing. Do you mind having a 20-minute chat? A lot of times they won't reply, but every now and then somebody does. They talk to you. They're like, hey, this kid's really interested. Maybe I'll put him or her for a first round interview. So yeah, ATS, reach out to people. I think those are the two main things I'd say that would give your best foot forward for now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
Right.
you basically had a profile before in product management before you got your first job. You said you were an actor before, like
Yeah.
how did you go from like finance, like acting to finance, and then like did you do like pro bono projects, or did you do like some kind of like pre-hand, like before like getting your first job? Like how did they know that you had the experience
Yeah,
that
so once again, right, when I entered Ion as my first job, I didn't have any tech experience. So when I was an actor, that was before college. In college, everything sort of restarts, right? And in college, I had
Mhm.
3 finance internships. And then after that, when I was interviewing for the rotational program at Ion Group, which was fintech, the finance internship kind of like stood out as quite interesting. And
Okay.
once again, if they're hiring like straight out of college, they want to see how smart you are and also how well you vibe with the culture. So that's how I got my in. So once again, I highly recommend rotational kind of like product programs or like tech analyst programs to start, and then work your way up from there, which is what I did.
Hmm. Got it. Got it. So when you're saying like you had the finance knowledge, you got into rotational program, and then you finally got a Ticketmaster PM role. So in this whole journey, so technical skills or technical knowledge is an important aspects of a PM, right? When you communicate with engineers, you need the technical knowledge to decide upon the timeline or the define at least define the scope of the product or, or the new feature. So where did the technical, I mean, building of the technical skills join? I mean, was in your journey? Where did you develop those necessary technical skills to complement with your financial economics knowledge for the PM job?
For the PM job, I say my first 3 years in Ion. So I
Mm,
was a data analyst. I was crunching metrics, usage metrics, who's clicking on what. If this person is here, where did the user journey end? Using something like Mixpanel. I
Mhm.
work with engineers to manage the backlog in AHA and product feedback. All these little things during my 3 years. Obviously, when you're on the job and you're working on a product, you'll be
mhm.
getting the experience. Yeah, that's how I got it. Some other people's experience might be different, right? Like some of you guys might be building apps on the side or doing some small projects. I did not do that, but I just worked on the job, started out as a data analyst.
Got it. Got it.
That's great.
So, yeah. So, just, I mean, when you're working as a follow-up to your previous question itself, so when you're working as a PM in Ion, and right now when you're working full-time as a PM in Ticketmaster, so how much the role differ from your expectation from your previous Ion RPM experience to now as of the work which you are actually doing right now? And adding to
Mhm.
this itself, if you can describe the typical day of you working as a PM, how does it look like? It would be great.
Cool. Yeah. So the thing is, in Ion, it's a bit different, right? In Ion, it's fintech. We're pitching to banks most of the time. So a lot of the client interviews, you're talking to banks. A lot of the kind of like conversations is, okay, how can I help you find the best deal? How can I help you find the best yield? If I want to invest in a solar power plant right now, which country is the best and cheapest way to invest in solar? Those are the conversations in Ion. Right now in Ticketmaster, it's a bit different because I'm working with venues. A lot of the questions then go to, okay, how many people are in your stadium? How many shows do you run per week? How many people are in your marketing team? How many people are sending emails? Who wants to send SMS? So on and so forth. So the conversations there are very different. I wouldn't say anyone is good or bad because some people really like the fintech or finance route. Some people like live ticketing, and some people like other opportunities. I have a friend who's working in insurance. He's
Mm-hmm.
doing machine learning that prices insurance bonds in the market. So different strokes for different folks. Typical day as a PM, I think a lot of different things, right? It's like I think you're managing the backlog a lot. You're looking at a lot of customer complaints. You will be the first one. I think a lot of the political stuff you're kind of like paid to do, whereby engineering wants to do one thing and then leadership wants to do another thing, and then the customers want another thing. And as the product manager, you're gonna be like, hey guys, leadership, you might want too much. All right, let's settle down on these two things. Engineering, I know you guys want to reduce tech debt, but let's reduce tech debt, but let's squeeze in this one thing here. And customers, hey, we're building this that you really, really want. We're doing it right now, but it's taking longer than expected. Expect the next thing that you want to be built early 2025. So managing a lot of
Mm-hmm.
these conversations, trying to make everyone happy and know that you can't make everyone happy, but you're a product manager, right? You have to make a decision and you're paid to have the hard decisions. So yeah, it's a very interesting job. I think it's a very
Mm-hmm.
fulfilling career.
Hmm.
And some
Got it.
people like it and some people don't, but I enjoy it very much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm. Got
that makes a lot of sense. And I mean, I got a really like curious question like on as a follow up for this. Like, so like you said that you have a lot of things that you do as a product manager, Ticketmaster, as well as Ion, which you people like or may not like. And like, if you were like hiring or like if you were taking a candidate from a new candidate, what
Mhm.
would you say are like the soft skills that you would see in that candidate? Like what do you think make good product managers, and what do you think we should imbibe in ourselves?
Yeah, I think that's a great question because you're not talking about hard skills. The hard skills is like the stuff you can learn. The soft
Mm-hmm.
skills is more like the philosophy, right? And I think as any product, any job, in my opinion, is be very willing to learn and be very humble. A lot of times, I don't know if you guys heard of it. I rather work with somebody who's like not so smart but can learn than work
Mm-hmm.
with a smart ass who doesn't want to learn. So everybody who's taking an interview should always come with a lot of questions instead of I think I've in back in Iron we've interviewed back candidates. I've interviewed back candidates before where like, oh, we're doing this product, could you be interested in this? And even before asking about the product, somebody be like, oh yeah, I can do this. Yeah, I did 3 months internship in this. I'm the best candidate for this. While good product managers are the one who actually says, okay, you're doing this product, how many clients does this product service? How many monthly active users do you guys have? Okay, does this product involve this? Am I working closely with customers or am I working with backend engineers? If it's a security platform, do I really want to, just manage a different bunch of projects just for internal folks rather than external folks? You see, so I think those are the things that really, when you interview, the questions you're asking is actually a lot of times as important as the answers that you're giving, because these are the things that really show people that you're interested, you want to learn, and you can learn. It's no shame. I think everybody will get this right. What's your greatest weakness? And when I was asked this question, what was your greatest weakness when I was interviewing 2 years ago, was that I don't do A/B testing. Back then, when I was in Ion, the product I inherited was so small. It was something like a 700 users max, 700 users max. So the subset of users we have is not big enough for A/B testing. So I said you might interview a bunch of candidates who do A/B testing, but I don't. But I'm very willing to learn. And obviously, I've actually taken a course prior to this interview, and I can speak to some of the techniques that I've learned, and I'm definitely hoping to learn more on the job. I think that's a great answer than pretending to know what they're asking. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
So,
I have a quick follow-up on the soft skill part and the
Hmm.
part which you described in your day of the PM. I think you pretty quickly touched upon the very important part, which was like conflict management and the stakeholder management part. So
Hmm.
if you can briefly talk more about, is there any specific framework which you follow for conflict management, or like when you are prioritizing tasks, like is there specific things which you look for? That would be great.
Yeah, interesting, right? I actually had a call this week. I don't wanna. I mean, I shouldn't give up like any sensitive information on what I'm working with, right? But basically, 2024 has been a challenging year for tech companies in general. And because when tech companies are having a very challenging time, maybe some places are cutting budget. Maybe some places are looking to, move around resources, all these different things. There are some issues. I think one thing that I dealt with recently was like there's some issues like, okay, February, we have a problem, but we said like, it's okay, only one client's facing it, let's put it aside. March, something came up, not a priority. But then once it bubbles up to October, when we look back at the case, we're like, hey, one
Mm-hmm.
client complained about this again, but the accounts team is like, yeah, but this has been ongoing. And we actually look back at all the cases. We found out that 12 clients total over the
So,
past, 8 months have complained about this issue that we've been just pushing back. So these are the kind of
mm,
situations where it's like, okay, it's not good that we're pushing back. However, we got constraints here. And then
mm,
sometimes somebody will tell you, like, hey, clients are not happy if we don't fix this now. But then you have to push back to be like, hey, remember, clients also said they want this end of November. If you want to fix this now, they can't get it end of November. And then sometimes you just push it back to, leadership or whoever's asking. Clients want this end of November, but they also want this fixed now. So my recommendation is we just push whatever we set out to do end of November, and then we revisit this in December, and
mm,
come up with comms for clients to manage their expectations. But what
mm-hmm.
is your take? And then leadership would obviously give you their take, and they'll hear your recommendation, and they'll go for it, right? But yeah, a lot of times as a product manager is to really articulate what is actually happening. You have to be a very good communicator to be like, yo, this is the lay of the land. It's not the best. I'm just giving you the facts. This is my recommendation.
Mm,
What do you think?
got
great.
it, got it. Yeah,
Thank you
and
so
that's
much for
perfectly
that
said.
detail. Yeah, I mean that was such a detailed answer. I mean, you gave a proper scenario as well for us to understand, and that made a lot of sense, like how it works in the day of a like product manager.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Manish, I think we have a few questions on chat. Like we'll quickly
Mm-hmm.
take them, and then we'll probably go to our next segment, which would be like the resume review.
Mm-hmm.
We'll
Oh,
probably break down a
just
few
out of
things.
curiosity, how many people are on the stream now?
I'm not sure. Let me see. There's not many right now, but I think they've sent in the questions. Uh, Mohitya is here. Probably we can take a question. Like, okay, yeah. So here's a question from Richson's perspective. What are the key qualities or skills that aspiring product managers should focus on to succeed in interviews, especially in industries like finance or manufacturing?
Yeah, I think I talked a lot about kind of like the soft
Yeah.
qualities. I talked about kind of like hard skills to show your interest, like the research project. That's one big one. So
Mhm.
besides the soft qualities I talked about, besides the research project, I think really knowing the industry, right? So there's a lot more value if you go into an interview like finance. If finance is huge, Stripe does payments. We got other finance companies doing like crypto payments, decentralized finance. There's so many things out there. It would be good to enter the interview having two really good questions about the industry. Like I'm a big like crypto freak, right? So if I were to enter a product manager job, which is crypto related, I'm gonna ask very recent trends in crypto. That's gonna show that you're interested. If something like finance, recent trends in finance, ask recent trends in finance. Like okay, how do you think yeah, I can't really think of a finance question because I haven't been in finance for a while. But asking specific questions about that product line, I think it's interesting. I mean, most people are gonna be asking, okay, we're done the interview. Any questions? Most people are gonna be like, oh, what's the team structure? Oh, what's your day to day? Oh,
Okay.
who do you usually work with? Those questions are good, but they're level one. If you can go a little bit deeper to ask specific questions about the industry, you're really gonna impress the interviewer.
Wow, that
Mm.
makes a lot of sense. I mean, I'm going to use this in my interview as well.
Please do,
And
please do.
yeah, then we have one more question from Rahul. He asks you about how do you manage to capture information from outside the organization? From my experience, I have felt that many critical information is hidden from plain sight.
Yeah, so the thing is, like just now, the deck that I showed you guys, right? If you review it, everything is
Mhm.
public information. There's nothing in there that was sensitive because prior to kind of like joining the company and whatnot, the interviewers will give you a good rundown of what product you're going to be running. But if you can find the information online, great. But for the product that I was interviewing for, there wasn't a lot of information, as with other products I was interviewing for. You know what I mean? So one thing interesting that I did was I kind of look at competitors and what they're offering, and I also came up with my own assumptions and my own ideas. Right? I say our
Mhm.
competitors for email did this, 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 but my own assumption is, hey, you know what? Our competitors can do automations well. Our competitors can segment really well. Something like Salesforce has, a million dimensions you can cut your contact list with, but what all of them don't have, which is the idea I thought myself, was that Ticketmaster is very unique because we have your ticketing data. That is something that the competitors don't have. Why don't we build dashboards? Why don't we offer advanced analytics? Why don't we offer predictive analytics? If you're, 25, if you went to two Taylor Swift concerts before, you're more likely create an algorithm that to say you're more likely to, go to like a Easy Azalea concert, for example. So
Mhm.
offer some ideas, like intelligent ideas, based off what your competitor is offering and based off the knowledge you have.
That makes a lot of
Got
sense.
it.
Thank you so
Mhm.
much. We'll definitely keep that in mind. And so, Manish, I think it's about time. We have like 15
Yeah.
minutes more.
Let's start
I
with
think we
the
can, yeah,
resume review session itself. Like
uh,
we
that's
have
okay
two
with you.
resumes, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
we like picked a few resumes for you to like look at, listen, and this is all up to you. Like it's your personal criticism. It's not nobody's gonna take anything against you for like
Yeah,
doing this.
I would also say that my resume eye is not that good because I'm not a recruiter, but I can just roughly, like based on what I did, I can just roughly go through to see how many keywords they have and how can they improve it. I think that would be my take I'll offer.
Sure, 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 no problem. Let me just share the resume for you.
Sure.
uh I hope it's visible. Oh, let me just zoom in for you.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it's readable right now.
Can you zoom in a bit more, maybe?
Okay.
If you can do, yeah, I think this is good. Okay, if you go down to product management intern, let's see. So I think the school stuff is kind of like standard, right? Okay, so product marketing intern, Chase Summer associate manager. Okay, so let's look at product marketing intern. Efficiently assisted in streamlining marketing process by identifying opportunities for process improvement and enhancing overall program efficiency. Uh, Collaboratively cross-functional team service. Okay, personally, I think this resume will not get picked up.
Okay.
Uh, Very blatantly, it will not get picked up. No, I know a lot of people put a lot of work in their resume, but right here, firstly, you're lacking keywords and you're lacking very specific projects. Okay, so I just want to go through a product marketing portion, right? When people say efficiently assisted in streamlining marketing process, identify opportunities, process improvements, enhancing overall program efficiency. You said a bunch of stuff, but what do you actually do?
Hmm.
Like right now, let me ask you guys, do you have any idea of the project this person did to show an example of that? It's hard to
No.
tell, right? It's hard to tell, right? Yeah. But and it's the same as interviews. I think a lot of people fall in this trap where they use a lot of keywords. Oh, I streamlined this, I worked cross-functionally across this, and I did this to hit the deadline. But a lot of people are gonna be like, okay, but what did you produce? I think that's the bigger question. Yeah. So I think one thing the person can do here is, okay, assisted streamlining marketing process. Okay, streamlining marketing process, great keyword. What was the actual thing? If we said something like previous state, marketing processes in the previous state, it took 3 people and 5 weeks to do this because there was no process. With my help, I helped revamp. I did a 1 hour, a once a week standing meeting with the marketing team to align everyone, and everyone for a project, each person's name has a deliverable, and the next week somebody has to produce deliverables to hit. Because I implemented this system, it streamlined the entire thing versus 3 people who could actually only churn out, let's just say, 3 assets per week. This is now streamlined because of what I did, and now 3 people can churn 6 assets per week. Something like that. So
Hmm.
I'm giving an exact situation. I'm given an exact task and action that I did to show you how this is being streamlined, rather than saying streamlining, identifying opportunities without giving a specific example. So I think specific examples are super important here.
And Ritson, what do you do when there's no outcome? Like it's hard to measure the outcome of your experiences. For example, I'm right now working in a project where there's I'm building the sprint backlogs. I'm making stuff in Jira,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of stuff I'm doing, but I can't measure how much the customer or the person, the client is actually. He says he's happy, but how do I measure that? Like, how do you put that in your resume?
Yeah, this is the part I shouldn't be saying on a recording, but a lot of people make stuff up on the resume, and this is one thing where you're not gonna lie, but you're definitely gonna make yourself based off what you say, your actual project, right? So your actual project is you're managing the backlog. Before this, and there's nobody managing the backlog, I assume it would take an extra 5 6 hours every week because maybe the product manager has to do this. He's working overtime. He has other things to do. Without
Mm-hmm.
you, he was probably taking 5 6 extra hours to do this, I assume. So
Mm-hmm.
once you did this, once you're organizing the backlog, once you're finding the key things, you're obviously saving the product manager 5 or 6 hours worth of his or her time. When you're prioritizing these things, you're more effectively picking out the right features to be flagged, to be built, rather than taking more time looking around the entire backlog. So that saves an extra X amount more hours of time. So you can roughly kind of like estimate in terms of time, in time save, in terms of efficiency, in terms
Mm-hmm.
of maybe like you're talking about customers are getting the product or getting releases, how much faster are these customers getting delivered these features? That's a good example.
Wow, I mean, I never looked at it that way. Thank you so much. uh, yes. So if you want, we can probably look at the other parts of his resume.
Mhm.
If there's something which catches your eye, you can
Cool.
just let me know.
I would say, okay, let's scroll up. Let's scroll up. Not consulting projects, but the JP Morgan bit.
Okay.
Yeah, you see JP Morgan and manager at Reliance Industries. So this is more interesting, right? Because when I'm looking at the marketing manager, it doesn't tell me any specific project. It doesn't tell me what you actually did. But JP Morgan, the last line, enhance workflow to reduce business card applications approval from 7 days to 2.5 days by introducing automated text capturing system complying with doc-friendly reforms. This is a great line because once again, it's not just keywords. You're talking about the law that you're actually abiding with. You're talking about the specific system you're working with, automated text capturing system. You're talking about the actual 7 days to 2.5 days. And you're talking about your impact. You reduce turnover for business card application. So this line is a great example of how you should be doing the resume to be
Mm-hmm.
picking it up. And just comparing this line with a line from that marketing manager bit, you can already tell how much more detail and the actual kind of like value this candidate added in JP Morgan versus the marketing manager role.
Gotcha. I mean, that makes a lot of sense when you look at it from here there. All right. I think we can move on to the second resume, not to waste any more time. Like I want you to like have a look at the other one as well,
Hmm.
because yeah, I mean, this is another person who has like a SaaS background, I'm assuming. Uh, but he was really interested into fintech as well. So he wanted to know your reviews on this. So what's like your first impression? Like,
I don't
Akash,
see
I
anything
guess
yet.
the screen is not shared
oh,
yet.
okay. Just, I'm so sorry. Uh, is it visible now?
Yeah, just zoom it a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, product manager intern.
So,
Let
how
me
much does
give
it
me some time to
like?
read. Yeah.
How important is it to have like not have intern in the beginning, or like have is like have an actual title there? Like, what do you think we should be
I
putting
mean,
it?
intern is fine, right? It's quite because if they're hiring straight out of John Hopkins, it's a bit hard to believe that you're a product manager now and in John Hopkins, you know. So I think that's fine. Try make customer discovery, directed public testing, resounding 30% user recording feedback, discovery, hardware integration. Yeah, I think this is, I would say, maybe like a 7 out of 10, a 7 out of 10 resume, because a lot of, I'm just focusing on the top few bullets, right? A lot of the contributions are there. They could use a lot more numbers, like resulting in 30% usability improvement is great. Let's have more numbers and impact there. Executed market research, competitor analysis, according to unicorns of project. Okay. Yeah. So I think it's 7 out of 10 because, like, let's just say executing marketing research and competitor analysis. Who were the competitors? What were the variables you were using to vet against those competitors? What were the specific things you were looking out that the three new clients were impressed with your analysis? You know, led prototyping and development, smart display. I think this is not bad. Integrating sensors and maybe some. I think something on the first bullet point. I think something like percentage
Yeah.
impact that would be useful. Yeah. So that's my initial take. I think this resume is really not bad. Yeah, it's already an upgrade, but put it on ChatGPT. Let's get more keywords in there, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you should be positioned in a better place.
Okay. And in your resume, did you like probably like include like professional proficiency, technical proficiency, analytical skills, or like
Yeah.
something like projects leadership?
Yeah, so I think the technical proficiencies bit is something I do and a lot of people do, and I think this is great because, well, you can clearly see this candidate has kind of like a bit more work experience than the previous candidate and more experience in doing resumes because the ATS tracker is going to catch all these keywords. So I think this is great.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah, because this is kind of like a cheat. It's
I
a
know,
little
right?
cheat, right? You just put all the keywords in there, so the computer can pick it up. Yeah, and I do the same too.
Oh wow, and that works actually. That
Yep.
actually works.
Yep.
Doesn't the manager during like the hiring interview be like, why are there so many like?
No, no, because once a human sees your resume, they're gonna only spend, I think, 10 seconds looking at the top 3 or 4 bullets.
Okay.
So yeah, because they listen. Once the ATS spits out the resumes to them, then they will just go through 10 seconds. They'll just go through like that, right? So it doesn't really matter at that point.
Hmm. Gotcha. That's very insightful. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. I think that is about it from our part. And Manish, do you have any like closing thoughts? I mean, like I really love talking to Ritson today. It was absolutely insightful. I think we'll be sharing this on YouTube with all our like club members, our
Mhm.
students, faculty, whoever is on this podcast today. And it's really we can't thank you enough for coming to this podcast.
Yeah, sure. If you post it on YouTube and
Yeah.
you're posting it on LinkedIn, feel free to tag me. I'm happy to repost it.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, of course. So thank you, Ritson. I mean, I really like the part where you shared the presentations part, to be honest. That was the most insightful thing from my presentation, and I'm definitely gonna take the recommendation which you shared, like the four slide thing for the final interview call. And yeah, it was really amazing talking to you. And I'll also thank all our audiences who have tuned in. And thank you all for joining in. And look out for our future sessions as well. So every Saturday we have like a 3 p.m. podcast thing. So definitely look out for those future sessions as well. So yeah, thank you all for joining in. All right,
Thank you
bye.
so
Bye, Ricky.
much.
Thank you,
Thanks, guys.
Ricky.